Hello guys, this is Miguel Olvera and today is day 84 of the 90-day challenge for the law of attraction. Today we're going to talk about what are you listening to? I'm not talking about a radio, so let's get started and get this discussion started, shall we? Welcome back guys, this is Miguel Olvera and today we're going to talk about what are you listening? Today is day 84 of the 90-day challenge. Thank you for being with me for these last 84 days. It's been quite a journey and I learned so much. I hope that I brought you some value and I definitely want to end this 90-day challenge with the best. So today we're going to talk about what are you listening to? And again, I'm not talking about a radio. I'm going to talk about you. What are you telling you? What are your mental chatter? I talked about this in a previous video, but I want to re-emphasize this because it's very, very important that we actually pay attention to everything that we're telling ourselves. That mental chatter that is always and constantly going on, well, I want to make sure that you're aware of it, one, and two, that you control it. First, become aware of it. Two, be conscious of what direction is it driving you. Is it giving you positive reinforcement, or is it giving you negative information? It's just throwing all your effort and everything you're trying to do in a wastebasket. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to this inner dialogue that you're continually having at all times. Sometimes I talk to myself when I have this dialogue in a louder voice, and I attract some attention from other people, and they think that I'm nuts, but I want to make sure that when I'm having this chatter, when I'm having this conversation, and it's not going the way that I want it to go, I just tell it to be quiet and actually just shut up. You have the power to control this chatter. You have the power to take it to whatever destination you want to take it to. If you just let it run and do whatever it wants, it will take you to the gutter. So make sure that you control this internal dialogue or mental chatter that we all have. It's very, very crucial. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure that illustrate this for you is this. Think of this mental chatter or this conversation that you have as a snowball. Okay? So just think of a snowball. At the beginning, it's very little. Okay? So just imagine this is a snowball and you're coming downhill. Okay, as you roll this snowball, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It is exactly the same thing with our inner chatter. Okay, so if you don't control it, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it all depends what you think about and what you put inside this snowball. If you put negative thoughts into that snowball, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you will come to a point that you will just freeze. You will not get anything accomplished. Fear will take over you, and you just will get in a panic mode. Okay, and it's just in our imagination, because most of the time, whatever you imagine or whatever you create with that snowball, it's not going to happen. So that's why it's very crucial that you control that inner chat. Now, one thing is for certain. Remember that little life that we talked about towards the beginning of the 90-day challenge? When I talk about when we are little, our subconscious mind is totally wide open, and whatever information comes from TV, radio, parents, teachers, everybody, they just start dumping information into our subconscious mind without us even knowing about it. And that actually becomes the old programming that we're trying to, get rid of right now. Well, most of that old programming, most of that old bad information that we got It's negative by nature. Why? Because that is how we were brought up. Unfortunately, we were never brought up to think optimistic, and we were never brought up to think positive in terms of, achievement on trying to do something for ourselves. I remember when I was little, my mom used to tell me all the time, be careful out there. Every time that I used to, be out or driving or whatever, or, they always wanted me to be, thinking about the worst situation and in the worst in people sometimes. And it's not necessarily so. Not everybody is a bad person. Not everybody, are thieves and things like that. So that is the mentality that we were brought up, at least I was, in terms of how to think of others. Never speak to strangers, never, get inside of a car with a stranger, never take any food or candy from strangers. And this is when I was little. So all that information, little by little, created a negative stigma towards strangers. So for me, it was very difficult, and still is sometimes, to trust people. So therefore, this negative snowball is still within my mind. And sometimes I struggle, and it's definitely, most of you will have the same struggle, because basically we're all brought up the same way. So the first thing that we do normally when we're trying to attempt to reach a goal or to reach whatever we're trying to accomplish, this negative snowball, comes into being and starts telling us, no, it's not going to work, it's not going to work automatically. So that is what I'm trying to make you aware, and make sure that you know that negative chatter or that negative feedback is going to come like this, automatic. Okay? So it's up to you to make sure you have the power. You have the power to change it around. You have the power to tell it, hey, take a hike, or shut up. You can just tell it to just leave. And you can actually turn it around. Remember the 4 steps of how the mind learns? I talk about this towards the beginning again of the 90-day challenge. And these are unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competent, and unconscious competent. Okay, so at the beginning is you don't know that you don't know. The second one is you know that you don't know. The third one is you know that you know. And the last one is you doing it automatically. So what I'm trying to say here is your brain has enough neural pathways already built in by this negative snowball. So your job is to actually watch these videos over and over and over. That's the only way for you to be able to get rid of that negative chatter or that negative snowball. For you to be able to immerse yourself into this information, you have the opportunity to watch these videos over again. Get yourself into a place where you can actually start changing these neural pathways. Neural pathways are just connections between cells inside your brain. So you have created a connection so strong when you think about things that automatically that negative connection comes into being. Your job is to diffuse that connection and create another one, but this time to create a positive connection between your brain and neural pathways. You have to create them. So it's very, very important, because your predominant way of thinking, it's negative. Unfortunately, that's the way we were brought up. So now is your opportunity to change that predominant way of thinking to a positive. So that is the job that you have to do. You have to change that from a negative to a positive. So when you create this snowball, you will automatically start thinking positive. You will automatically start thinking optimistic. And you will automatically start seeing possibilities when you are faced, into a challenge. When you come across a difficult situation, you will look for the positive in it automatically, instead of having that mental chatter telling you that it's not going to work. Thank you very much, guys, for being with me for the last 84 days. Today, we talk about what are you listening? Definitely very important. If you have any friends, relatives, or co-workers who you know that will benefit from this, make sure you tell them. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on your post notifications up here for Instagram, down here for YouTube and Facebook. And you tell most people or whoever you think will benefit from this information or any of the videos that we've been discussing. We have 84 so far. I have another 6 for you guys, and I will try to give you the best. Again, I don't know if I'm going to extend this 90-day challenge or not. I'm trying to cramp everything into the last 6 days. We'll see. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Thank you for the last 10 minutes today. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.